The state that brought you the Papers, Please law for its handling of the immigration debate is now targeting transgender individuals and the public restrooms they choose to use. Arizona State Representative John Kavanaugh wants to pass a law which would punish people for using designated public bathrooms, lockers, or dressing rooms that don't match the gender on their birth certificate. On Wednesday, the House postponed a hearing on the bill until sometime next week. Joining me now is Masen Davis, Executive Director of the Transgender Law Center. Okay, this is quite an issue here, Masen. We have authorities who could charge violators with a Class 1 misdemeanor. That's punishable by like $2,500 of a fine, 6 months in jail. You have a local TV station there dubbing this the Show Me Your Papers Before You Go Potty bill. And there's one lawmaker who's openly gay who said this would criminalize the very nature of being transgender. How did this start?
Well, I mean, this bill would undermine the basic human dignity of transgender people and anybody who doesn't fit narrow gender stereotypes. It really is meant to target transgender people as a reaction to a non-discrimination ordinance that was passed in Phoenix just a few weeks ago. And it's incredibly damaging for transgender people and a lot of other folks, we anticipate. It doesn't recognize the fact that many transgender people are part of America's fabric. We are participating in the economy in Arizona, and we deserve to be able to, use the facilities that we need. It also doesn't just recognize the basic realities of transgender lives. I'm a transgender man myself. That means I was born female, I grew up as a girl, and later in life transitioned and have now lived as a man for most of my life. For most of your viewers, I'm guessing it's pretty clear what restroom I should use.
Yeah.
And it's just common sense.
But
Yet,
Masen,
as you say, this bill would make it a criminal act for me to actually use the men's room, and I could end up in prison for 6 months. And yet it would be very disruptive for me to use the women's room. And, Alex, what restroom would you like to see me in?
No, I want to see you in the men's restroom for sure. I mean, that's the way that is. But I understand that a lot of this is just based on your birth certificate designation. That is a hard thing to change. Is there any talk of now making sort of a at-birth designation? I mean, would that help things?
Well, you're right. It is challenging to change the birth certificate for many transgender people. I myself still have an F for a female designation on my birth certificate. That's not a document we typically carry around or think about a lot, right? We usually use our driver's licenses, our passports, social security cards much more often. And there's not a consistent way to change somebody's birth certificate across the state. So this is a really challenging burden for anybody. But I think there's a bigger issue here where this law, if passed, would really encourage policing of everyone in the bathroom. I'm usually able to use the restroom, always able to use the restroom without incident. Nobody notices me. But it's gender non-conforming people like the soccer mom in sweatpants and a baseball cap who are most likely to be targeted by this bill if passed and harassed because somehow they're not as feminine as Angelina Jolie or a guy's not as masculine as Clint Eastwood. It's really damaging in general for Arizona.
Well, unfortunately, as I give you a thanks, Masen, for joining me, I just want to throw up a quick map and show you that you're not alone there. There are issues in states and cities, including Phoenix, just last month that passed that anti-discrimination law that included the protection of transgender officials. So it's going to be a conversation we'll have ongoing. Thank you, Masen, for joining me.
Thank you.